Hi everyone and welcome to the Student Learning Support Service. My name is Lauren and in this module we are talking exam strategies. This is part 2 of exam strategies. I'm going to give you some evidence-based revision strategies. So once you've got your timetable organized, you've done some spaced practice, you've organized your notes, it's time to engage in some active revision techniques. So let's get into it. So first thing to know is that our brains are not like a library where information is shelved until it's needed. Memories are reconstructive. Each time we recall something, we alter it, we refine it, and we strengthen it. And this can be good and bad, but if we're recalling the right information or correcting information when we recall it strongly, we make that information much, much stronger. And for information to move from short-term memory to long-term memory, which is what we want when we're doing exams, it must be encoded in a deep and meaningful way. And that's what we're doing when we're employing some of these strategies. So trust me, they work. The first one we're going to try is interleaving, and interleaving is the process of switching between two similar but different topics as we study. These should be similar enough to make connections between ideas or problem-solving strategies, but not too dissimilar. So not switching from like English to maths. And if we do this, we can deepen our understanding of both. For example, you might interleave a nutrition topic with a physiology topic. And this technique works really well with spaced practice because it allows us to break up those study sessions into more discrete but related topics that we can return to over time. But as a note, it's important not to switch too often. We do need enough time to study topics in depth, so give it at least an hour or two before switching. The next technique is elaboration. Elaboration is the process of strengthening our understanding of something by adding information to it. So it involves describing, connecting, and organizing ideas and basically just thinking about things on a deeper level. And this is an active study technique that forces your brain not just to passively review information, which is what we do when we rewatch a lecture or just simply reread our notes, but to kind of consider our understanding of that information. And you can use elaboration techniques to really activate your notes. And so the two particular techniques that I'm going to talk about are interrogation and dual coding. Interrogating is all about asking questions. So how and why do things work? Seems easy, right? Interrogating your notes and topic concepts allows you to expand your understanding and make connections. It also helps you to identify weak areas. So a few things that you might try include describing connections between two concepts and explaining how they might work together, or taking two ideas and thinking of ways that they are different or similar. You might also explain out loud the steps that you are taking to solve a problem, or ask questions about the process, mechanics, or theory behind an idea. If you're working in a study group, you might split up key concepts to learn and then teach those to each other, ask each other questions about how those things work. And of course, when we're using interrogation, it's really important to check your answers. Remember that every time your brain retrieves information or a memory, it alters it. So we need to make sure that we're not retrieving the wrong information. And if you are, correct it, and that will help you remember the correct information. The next part is dual coding, and this is where we combine verbal and visual materials together. We process verbal and visual materials through separate channels, so dual coding gives us essentially two pathways to remembering that same information. So go through your textbook, your lecture slides, and have a look at any visuals that are used alongside the words. Ask yourself and your peers how those visuals represent what is described verbally. You might also create your own diagrams, images, or maps to describe processes and then explain those out loud to yourself or to your study group. Or describe images and diagrams in your own words, either in writing or out loud. Another technique we can use is concrete examples. Abstract ideas are hard to grasp. If we remember concrete examples, so things that we can picture, that we can imagine as a tangible example of something, we can create a much stronger association between the idea and that example, and therefore understand the mechanics and remember it better. So look through your lecture slides, your textbooks, find as many concrete examples as you can. explain to yourself how those examples demonstrate the concept or idea, and add these to your notes. Better yet, create your own examples to ensure that you understand how the ideas can be applied. Next, we're going to talk about retrieval practice. Now, retrieval practice or active recall is the most effective revision strategy. The reason it works so well is because it focuses not simply on getting information in, which is what we do when we watch that lecture or reread our notes, but on getting information out again. It's concerned with bringing information from our memories into our minds and therefore strengthening it. So some of those techniques that we might use include, firstly, practice tests. I recommend starting your revision with a practice test. This will allow you to assess your ability to retrieve information, how strong are your memories and understanding of that information, and show you the areas that need the most attention. You can then follow up on your mistakes, find the correct answers, and add these to your revision strategy. You can also make your own quiz out of your lecture notes or textbook. This is a really effective technique because it, again, forces you not just to input information, but to output it in your own words. And make sure you keep testing yourself and do it under exam conditions. Particularly set a timer, and if you know that you're going to be writing by hand in your exams, make sure you revise by hand. You don't want to get that cramp. Another excellent way to test your active recall is to use flashcards. And again, making them yourself is far more effective than using ones created by somebody else. Write a question on one side with the answer on another, break complex questions down into multiple questions across multiple cards, add images to words to create stronger associations, to use some dual coding. Say your answers out loud when you study your flashcards, elaborate on the answers, so add information to them rather than just the keywords that might be on there, and study your flashcards in both directions. This will help to prepare you for a question that's written anyway. So those are 3 techniques that I hope you find useful. You can find out more information about these in our exam strategies guide, or we also have some links to some more information if you need it. But just remember, exam periods are stressful, but they are temporary. You may need to create habits that are a little bit different to your normal routine. So remember, this is just for now. Remember to rest, and if you are struggling, see health counselling and disability services. As I said, check out the links, and good luck with your exams. I hope some of these techniques work for you.